welcome to the wedding, another wedding, or as my grandma likes to call it, why aren't you married yet, Kyle? Now, a few months ago, when my sister asked me to be the MC of her wedding, I thought, that's awesome. Who better to talk about marriage than me? But the more I thought about it, there is actually some key things that I can give to her as far as knowledge goes. If you don't know, I've actually been married 4 times. Alright? So when I was a young kid, about 3 or 4, a very impressionable youth, I was married to pro wrestling. So back then, the big stars of the day, we had Hulk Hogan, we had the Ultimate Warrior, you know, we had Jake the Snake Roberts, all these like larger-than-life figures in my life. And the one thing I learned from them was, try not to get hit by a steel chair. Alright?
Good advice, yeah.
So, number 1, don't get hit by a steel chair. Number 2, as I kind of grew older, and I found more and more interests, I found myself being called to reading a whole lot. So back then, I was reading a little bit above my grade level, and I was reading novels at a pretty early age too, around 8 or 9. And so we had these fantastical lands I got to go and be a part of. We had James and the Giant Peach that I loved as a child. I had being able to follow Bilbo Baggins around his whole journey there and back again. And the one thing being married to reading gave me was that it taught me to daydream and to laugh and to wonder at a whole bunch of things. So reading was a big part of my life, and then I went off to university, and something fairly interesting happened there. Growing up on a farm, obviously technology is not a huge thing, at least not the computers and the cell phones and all that sort of thing. But when I went off to university, a lot more of that stuff came into my life. And one of the biggest things was in the final year of university, 2005, there's a little website called YouTube that was released. And I thought way back then, I looked at it and like, there is no way this site is going to last past a month. There's just no way. If people are uploading, there's no way that they're going to be able to hold all this traffic. Well, I was caught wrong. One thing about YouTube that most people don't realize is that most people go there for like funny little cat videos or dogs go on skateboards, but there's a whole little subculture that most people don't even realize exists, where there's these pockets of people who are doing like independent films on there and just talking to a camera and vlogging to people from there. And so what YouTube taught me was that you can kind of create something from nothing. And to be able to do that creation was something that really inspired me. Now, talking about technology as well, is that as I grew out of university and went to Calgary and I finally got a job, I started being a part of something that I never thought I would be, which is part of the technology industry. So being interested in the people who make the technology, the leaders of those companies. I now work for one of the biggest ones. But the one thing that technology can do, if we allow it, or if we kind of take it by the reins, that it can weave us together and make communication easier. I remember way back when, I don't know if my mother will ever remember this story, but I remember being, I'm going to say around 14 years old, and we were coming back from, like, I'm going to say Camrose or something for some reason, and we needed to call my dad, and we had nothing. We didn't have a cell phone back then, we didn't have a car phone, and we had to stop and use a payphone. And it took, we were trying to grab money, we were using like dimes and nickels and quarters and trying to put them all in there to actually talk to somebody. And now what we can do, with either from a smartphone or from a laptop computer, we can contact people from all over the world almost free of charge. So what the technology let me know is that we can communicate. So after all these marriages, what I've learned is that we just have to remember to do a few things, which is we need to dream, we need to love, we need to create, and we need to communicate. And you just have to try and not get hit by a steel chair.
Okay, so just a little bit of a different video than what's normal, but hopefully you really enjoyed it. The shout out this week goes to Ooh Cullen, who, if you have not seen his tribute to the Vlogbrothers 1000 videos, you really should. It's really awesome. And for some more fun, let's continue watching.
Hi. The music is not ready yet, so we'll just be a few more minutes. Perfect.